Welcome to another broadcast of the Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This morning we have some shadows, and two of our students are from JVS, and they've been working as summer help with the math department, and I'd like to introduce them. This is Michael Crow, and Michael is from JVS. Emily McNear, and Emily goes to Lorain Catholic, and by Betty there we have Brittany Burgos. Am I saying that right? Yes, Burgos. And Brittany is with JVS. And we'd like to welcome you this morning and hope you get something out of it.
Number 1, Job and Family Service.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy? Aye. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy? Aye. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Advances or repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye, if there were any. You have that puzzled look on your face.
There was one repayment, the crime lab reimbursement.
Yes, I thought I had an issue here. I thought we actually put that one on hold.
Well, it's not in, so.
Was it pulled?
Yeah, you have it, right, John? You put a note on it for...
Yes, I put a note
Yeah,
on
notes on two
the
things, but we still
appropriation
paid
and on the
that.
transfer.
I signed it.
On both.
Okay, not voted, but I signed those earlier, so
If,
it was in there when I signed it.
We had a little confusion on our end, and I apologize. If we could hold that particular one till we gain just a small amount more information, I would appreciate it. It doesn't affect anything with respect to how we're dealing with that.
Okay.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Travel expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Would you like to pay bills? Would you vote on that? Yes.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Board of Commissioners.
I didn't see a summary sheet. Was there one?
I didn't either.
Just something on it? Oh.
Get my pencil.
Yeah. That has...
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I do,
You know, I did a little problem with that we don't even see it, and then it gets circulated, and then it's brought before us.
I'll say aye with the exception of number 2.
Was that a motion?
Did someone make a
Because there's
motion?
no motion.
Then there's my motion with
Okay.
exception number 2.
I'll second with the exception of number 2.
Further discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Under Commissioners, number 10, approve and enter into agreement with Barber and Hoffman, Inc., Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount of $69,700 plus $1,000 in reimbursables for professional engineering services for Lorain County Parking Garage.
I'd like Mr. Cordes to comment on this, Madam Chair, if he might.
Obviously, I think the commissioners had hoped that they put the issue of repairs to the parking deck to bed a few years ago, and weren't going to have to visit it again in this lifetime. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We have some issues with the expansion joints in the parking deck, and specifically with the expansion joints on the top end of the deck that are greatly deteriorated, and we're starting to have some concrete problems and leakage problems again. These expansion joints were not addressed the last time work was done on the parking deck, and we need to address them now. Clearly, the parking deck is not going to collapse, and a failure of the structure is not imminent, but we do need to address these joints. If not now, it's going to be next year. It's not going to get any better. And I need to point out that this is just for engineering work and bidding documents and specifications. This is not for repair work. So while the sum seems rather high, it's the first amount of funding necessary, and I anticipate needing quite a bit more money to correct this problem.
So who are these people? Were they the original ones that worked on it last time?
They were the company selected during the qualification process. They're an engineering firm that's done some work for us before.
So who was the one engineering firm that did this originally?
I can't speak to that, Commissioner. I wasn't here.
I think it was Donnelly.
No, they did the construction. You're talking about the plans, the engineering.
Yes, when the repair work was done in 1990, late 98 and 99 on the parking deck. I can find that information out for you. I'm sure it's available.
They were one of the bidders this time as well. It was in the packet of information.
What are you asking? Who did the repair or who did the engineering
Did
study?
the engineering?
We had the firm that did the repair work and the renovation of the deck in several times over the last 3 years for warranty work, but they did not work on these expansion joints.
Well, this just goes to show how expensive it is to maintain a parking deck. Because it was in 1998 that we spent about $1 million to repair the parking deck.
Or how they should have done it right the first time.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, but
There's a difference from saying whether or not they have a parking garage or if it's done right the first time. Has anybody reviewed this to see if there was any issues? If there was like any errors on this?
Yes. In fact, I think Jerry early on may have worked with Ralph on a couple of warranty issues on that garage. I'm not sure. I know that we had the original repair people out several times for warranty work with respect to the performance of their duties. But this is a different issue. The expansion joints were not in the original scope of work.
And no one knows why, because you weren't here.
Well, I'm not trying to disavow anything, Commissioner. I don't know what was really done, and the people that were working on the project are no longer with us.
But you don't know who they were.
It's,
I'm trying to find out who the original.
It's Desmond in there. If you look at Karen's letter.
Right here.
Does she list who they are? If not, they're named in.
the engineer was Desmond and Associates then.
Yes.
Okay, what's that, near the back?
Someplace in
That
there.
is,
right
near
here.
the back, okay. That's September 24th, 1998, agreement from, let's see.
Would that help you?
Yeah, I got it right here. That's on the second to the last page. How do we know what the engineer called for last time? This just tells us what the actual bid was.
Should be a contract.
Yeah, but it's probably filed away. I don't think it's in here. It's from 1998. It would be in here. So has Karen reviewed all that already, or?
Right, it's gone to go on a review. We've been working with the county maintenance department, the supervisors down there, and various other people to ensure that we got the scope of work that we felt was necessary and responsible enough to correct the problem in the garage. Any information that you would like on the previous repair, Commissioner. I'm sure it's available. We just have to hunt it down.
I asked for all that information last week, but I don't have the contract here.
I think I'd like to see the original contract. Is that what you're asking, that you asked for?
I asked for all the information in regards to the repairs in 98, but I wasn't given a contract, unless it's at the record center.
I believe what you'll need for 1998, for the information I think that I'm beginning to believe that you want, you'll need the bid specification. You'll need the bid package, because the bid package will have the scope of work
That would be
and
nice.
the definition of work, rather than the contract. The contract is a pro forma.
Maybe we should see both.
That's fine.
And we put aside $500,000 this year for parking resurfacing. So if we pass this, once the cost comes in for this from the engineering study, we should ask John to assess our budget and find out where it's going to be paid from. Anything over $500,000.
I was anticipating capital improvements or possibly building renovations. We have money in the budget for that kind of work. So this would not require any additional appropriation in any of our line of accounts that we can pay for this out of.
We may have to transfer some money, though.
So you're going to get us a copy of the original bid and the specs?
Sure.
Okay. Can we have that for next week?
Absolutely.
Make a copy for all three of us?
We're making one, we can make three.
Okay, thanks.
Just think all the trees.
I know, I was waiting to hear about that, but
Have you reviewed that contract?
The old one?
Yes.
No.
I would prefer if you and Karen review it. I don't necessarily want a copy of it. I want you to look at it. I think that's your job, and then if there's a problem, you should be telling me, not me telling you.
I agree.
But Karen did look into some of it. She looked into what Donnelly did, and some of that is still under warranty, and they're going to come back and do that.
Right. As I indicated, we have had them out here several times for the work that they perform to do warranty work. I'll look at the bid package, but the people that report to me the response for this told me that clearly the expansion joints were not in the original scope of work. I did not challenge that position. If you want to go back and verify that position, I certainly will do that for you.
Thank you.
And don't bother to give us copies of the
Well,
documents yet.
I would still
You
like a
still
copy.
want it?
of
Okay, I don't want one. I saved a half a
Save
tree.
a half a tree.
I'd like one, Jim.
Okay.
So you want me to put this on hold for 1 week, till next
We'll
Thursday?
just put it under
would,
old
yes.
business, and I'll get the information to the
I
commission.
know, but I'm asking.
Yes, please.
Under Children and Families Council, authorize Director of Children and Families Council to designate the Lorain County Board of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities to develop and submit an application for funding on behalf of the council to the Administration on Children, Youth and Families Child Care Bureau in response to Early Literacy Opportunities Act program announcement, and to administer and implement the project if funded.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Under Community Development Department, approve the semi-annual revolving loan fund report for the period January 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2003, as submitted by Lorain County Community Development Department.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this all that's all we're going to vote on? We're not voting on what happened at the meeting?
No, I'm just making a note for Teresa and Rebecca to make sure that appears on the agenda for next week, I would assume,
Okay.
unless you want to discuss it today. I think it ought to appear as an agenda item.
Okay.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Emergency Management Agency, appoint various members to Lorain County Emergency Planning Committee effective August 13, 2003 through August 12, 2004, and the members will be listed in the resolution.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Under Golden Acres, award contract to Cocosian Construction Company, Inc., Sheffield, Ohio, in the amount of $51,097.25 for the Golden Acres parking lot repair and expansion. 4 bids were received, this being the most responsive, and Solid Waste will provide $7,628.80 for the use of recycled asphalt and base, and the total amount is available from Golden Acres account number 2601-350-144-0401, capital improvements. Issue a notice to proceed letter effective on or before August 15th and to complete on or before September 30th, 2003, and authorize the county administrator to notify the county auditor to release retainage at the completion of said project.
So move. Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Job and Family Services, amend Resolution Number 03498, adopted June 26, 2003, approving and enter into a purchase of service contract between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services and Lorain County Children and Families Council for the 2004 Early Start component for the Help Me Grow program. Said amendment will increase the contract amount of $969,224 to $991,827, an increase of $22,603.
So move. Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Amend Resolution Number 03500, adopted June 26, 2003, approving and entering into a purchase of service contract between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services and Lorain County Workforce Development Agency for the 2004 Workforce Investment Act programs and services. Said amendment will increase the contract amount of $2,697,941 to $3,434,532, an increase of $736,591.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Instruct the clerk to advertise for Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services, seeking proposals to provide services to be published in the Chronicle, Telegram, and Morning Journal on August 4th and 11th, 2003. 1. Career counseling program who uses independent judgment and specialized expertise to deliver a variety of career-oriented services to unemployed participants receiving OWF cash assistance. These proposals are to be open on Monday, August 18, 2003 at 2 p.m. in the Commissioners' Public Hearing Room, and mandatory pre-proposal conference will be held at Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services on August 12, 2003 at 9 a.m. 2. Pathways program for a provider to assist OWF cash recipients to build employment skills designed to enhance their success in the workplace. Proposals to be open on Monday, August 18, 2003 at 2:30 in the Commissioners' Public Hearing Room, and the mandatory pre-proposal conference will be held at Job and Family Services on August 12, 2003 at 10 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Yes, on that one, would you notify the steelworkers local 1104? Because I'm thinking that they might want to put a proposal in.
Item 17 now.
17-1, the career counseling program. Thanks, Juan.
18, enter into agreement with Shopping Center Maintenance Company, Inc., Elyria, Ohio, on behalf of Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services to provide sweeping of their parking lot with an air vac sweeper truck. The main lot located on North Ridge Road will be $50 to $5 per month, and employees' parking lot off Lake Avenue inside of loading dock will be $65 per month, to be paid from account 20501-0903-450203, building maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Workforce Development Agency, amend Resolution Number 03510, adopted June 26, 2003, approving and entering into various purchase of service contracts between Lorain County Board of Commissioners and the Workforce Development Agency, with the funding source available through the Workforce Investment Act. Said amendment to the contract is for the Workforce Institute of Lorain County to continue to operate the Employment Network, Lorain County One-Stop Career Center, and the total amount should be $1,601,284, not $1,526,284.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Under the Alcohol and Drug Addiction Services Board, Amend Resolution Number 03419, adopted June 5, 2003, and Resolution Number 03534, adopted July 10, 2003, reappointing Joan Verrill and Carolyn White as members to the Alcohol and Drug Addiction Services Board. The said amendment is to reflect the term should have been 4 years, expiring June 30, 2007, not 3 years.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under the Engineer Sanitary Department, approve and enter into agreement with the City of Amherst, Ohio, to install sanitary sewers in the Broadway-Taylor Hall area. Said funding is dependent upon each party obtaining OPWC assistance. The City of Amherst approved said agreement by ordinance number 00365 on May 27, 2003. Any portion that has not been financed will be collected through assessments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. You want to add anything to this? Like, is this costing the county any money, or is this more like an advance on your part? Mr. Carney?
Good morning. This is a contractual agreement approval between the county and the city, and I could give you a good half hour on this project, developing where it was born through the health department, determining it's a public nuisance. But in a nutshell, what we're looking for is a cooperative agreement signed. That's what we're doing today. And that would enable my office to readily apply for, more powerfully, for the OPW grants system, which our deadlines are September 5th.
Then what?
Then we get the grants and we bring that down to a very reasonable level for accessible front foot per lot for the affected property owners, and I expect to get that down to a very attractive number, considering the sanitary sewer would be installed with the additional cost of a brand new road system, because we plan to put the road in the middle of we plan to put the sanitary through the center of Broadway and Taylor. I suspect the assessments will probably about $3,000 less than expected. We're probably going to get around that $6,000 or $7,000 range, maybe even lower.
So why is the county involved? Is this a
Township.
It's a township?
Township road,
City
county
sewers?
sanitary.
County sanitary or city sanitary?
County sanitary, because Broadway and Taylor is two township roads.
All right.
The other two roads are city roads. We're in the future planning area of the city of Amherst. It's our responsibility to service the township roads and service those individual county residences. There's a sewer nearby, and that's controlled and owned by the city of Amherst. And we'll be utilizing that as the appropriate outlet, because again, I say they're in their future planning area.
Okay. So is there going to be any issues between the townships and the city if they want to tap into that?
It would be a township road system, county sanitary system. Almost everyone on that road system is very eager to have that sewer installed. We have knocked on every door. I've received zero negativity.
Oh, I know the city of Amherst has a lot of sewer issues.
It's in their FBA, they can't deny it.
No, I know that. Just- How much do you think this project's going to cost? You're basically just going out to get grant money and everything else, right? I mean, that's pretty much what you're trying to do.
Presently, we have $148,000 interest-free loans from Ohio Public Works. We're looking to get more grants. Cost of Broadway and the outlet is roughly $450,000. The Taylor system is roughly $330,000. Basically trying to get 20% of that grant money. We'll find out March of 2004.
Okay, so you're just helping out. You're not going to be using any of the county funds then, sanitary funds, correct?
I'll be utilizing the county sanitary engineers funds for engineering, but I expect to get full reimbursement
On that.
as we've
Okay.
always have done it. Always attempted and always been
And you've been very good at
rewarded on that. So.
that. Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I had.
Thank you, Ms. Black.
Thanks, Ken. Mr. Carney.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under the Sheriff, authorize Lorain County Sheriff to apply for grant monies from the FY 2003 Local Law Enforcement Block Grants from the Federal Bureau of Justice Assistance to purchase tactical equipment. The county's local match of $1,145.65 will be paid from the Sheriff's Law Enforcement Trust Fund. This is a result of Lorain County not receiving any monies this year, but mutually agreeing with the city of Lorain and Elyria to an allocation of 50% to the county and 85% to the cities. Lorain City is $40,351.20, with Lorain County's portion of $7,120.80. Elyria City is $18,127.95. Lorain County's portion $3,199.05. For a total of the cities at $58,479.15, and Lorain County at $10,319.85.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
I have no reports or comments this morning, thank you.
Mr. Ennis, Assistant County Prosecutor?
I have two litigation issues which I would like to discuss with the Commissioners in executive session. Also, Mr. Manning asked me to remind you or note for you that he has submitted a proposal for the diversion program. If you have any questions about that, I'm not familiar with that, but he welcomes you to contact him. He did mention that there are some time restrictions, again, which I'm not aware of, but regarding getting grant funding for that. So he just wanted to alert you that there are some time issues involved with that.
Okay, maybe we can have it on the agenda for next week. Would he want to come in public and speak about it?
I will make him aware of that.
Okay.
If you're going to do that, perhaps we need to invite some of the judges, too, who might have input on that.
Correct.
Commissioners report?
Commissioner Blair?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to announce that tomorrow, Friday, August the 1st, the Lorain County Community Alliance is meeting at the new Carlisle Township Fire Station. This is our semi-monthly meeting, and the program will be presented by Tom O'Leary, ODOT District 3 Director, together with Shara Davis, who is the Public Services Institute Director, and they're going to talk about a human resource network and how we might facilitate that to assist with training public employees to better do their jobs. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Anybody's welcome, and the new fire station in Carlisle Township is wonderful. Stop by and see us. The meeting starts at 9 a.m. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Have it on.
Yeah, I have a couple things. Jim, we talked about this yesterday, but can you give us a short idea of what's happening with the voting equipment, Board of Elections, and Green Acres?
I understand, I believe it's on August 5th, that the Board of Elections will be conducting a special election. Sheffield Lake, I believe is we have to verify that. I wasn't able to verify it yesterday afternoon. Where they'll be demonstrating electronic voting again. And some equipment that may potentially be what they adopt for use in the future. We had dialogue with Ms. Jacobic, and I believe, Madam Clerk, you also may have had some dialogue with her to come in and make a presentation on where they were with the electronic voting. We had something scheduled, and I believe that they withdrew they withdrew from coming in and making that presentation. I called Ms. Jacobic's office yesterday. She is out of town until August 5th. So I will not be able to find out if and when they are willing to come in here and update us. So we don't have a lot of information on the progress there, although I do know that there's quite an extensive amount of work being performed at the Board of Election with regard to that issue. With respect to the Green Acres issue, I placed a call earlier to Bill County, and I called him again yesterday, and he is out of town until August 1st. So he'll be back on Monday, and I asked that he called, and I won't wait for him to call. I will call him Monday morning. I think that we need to energize this issue with Green Acres and come to some resolution with respect to are we not going to do this, and then consider alternative options if we're not. We've lingered on this for quite a while, and I think it's time to put the issue into action or to move to a different area.
I think maybe we should send a letter and put a deadline on there. Either they do something by a certain day, or we decide to do something else with that building. It's been vacant for too long.
Whatever the pleasure of the board, Madam Commissioner.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree, it's been vacant far too long, and I think if we're not going to grant their request, we need to look at what else we might do with that building, and since we have not done that, I don't think it's necessary to put a time limit on them unless we're going to start looking at something else.
Well, once before I brought up the homeless center, and I think if we put some limits on families that go in there, maybe just families with children, maybe it could be used for that.
I'm not interested in using that for a homeless shelter, Commissioner Vacy. We had a meeting with the homeless task force, and they came in and pointed out to us, my recollection is they came in and pointed out to us the negatives to doing that, and so I thought that just by a process of elimination that we had determined unofficially that that was not a use that we wanted to have there.
I think their only problem was funding, so maybe we can contact them once again, see if the funding levels have changed from the state or the feds, and see if there is something we can do. I mean, we do have a homeless situation in the county, whether we'd like to face it or not.
Well, I'm not talking about not facing it. I'm talking about the best use for that building.
Okay, well, anyway, there's other avenues we can look at. And as far as voting equipment, I know that they're going to have to move along pretty fast, because if they don't make a decision by September the 1st, the state will. They'll tell us what company to go with.
Again, I'll make that contact. Madam Clerk, your discussions with having them come in, where did we leave
They were
that?
unavailable with the dates that we set up previously.
How many dates did we set up previously?
2.
And where did we leave it after they were unavailable those 2 dates?
She said she would get back to us.
Okay.
Well, I just have a question. I think it's good for the commissioners to know what's going on, but whose call is this ultimately? It's not the commissioner's call, is it? I think it's the Board of Elections' call.
My understanding is with the various changes that have taken place, and then the Secretary of State Blackwell's certain decisions that his office has made and been empowered to make, that we will probably be excluded from any active participation in that decision.
You're talking $3 million just for Lorain County. There's 88 counties. I think it's $24 million for Cuyahoga County. Who's going to be in charge of that kind of money? It's not going to be us. You're talking millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars. There's deals being made at the state, I'm sure, that we'll never know about. So it's going to come down to September is the deadline. They're going to make the decision, and then there'll be an argument who's going to pay for it out of Lorain County. I could be wrong, but that's what I see happening.
There won't be any argument about who's
We're
going to pay for it.
I know.
That won't be part of the argument.
I'm just letting you know that's what I see happening right now. So.
Well, we have some money set aside for it, so
Yeah, I know. I'm just
we're
saying.
okay there.
But we don't have $3 million. Let me make that crystal clear.
I mean, if they needed our money to make this happen, they'd be here today talking to us. It sounds like to me they're not going to need. We're not the main source of funding on this, or they'd be over here paying homage to get some cash.
I believe that's a correct position.
Okay, maybe I'm talking a little more blunter than usual, but
Really?
yeah, I know.
Okay, and then one other thing, the bicentennial bell. At our May meeting, it was stated that we would decide on what we would do with these bicentennial bells that we purchased, and we would decide in July. Well, this is the end of July, what are we going to do with them?
What's the issue?
What are we doing with those bells that we purchased? That's the question.
Well, let's put it on the agenda for next week and let's figure it out. Put together how many bells do we have, and
It's right here.
how many do we have? This is the one we bought 50 of them?
50 of the small ones and
39 the small one? Oh, no, we have, okay. So who typed this up?
we have 40 small bells and 10 large bells. And
Tell you what,
I
can you get a copy of
originally
this?
suggested,
Can you get a copy of this for me, and I'll give you my recommendations, and we can discuss it, be done with it next week and vote for it? Do you want to do that?
I don't have any recommendation today. I don't have any paperwork in front of me.
Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we figure out, this looks like a nice start right here. Did you do this?
no, Sandy gave me
Sandy
this.
gave this?
I'm sure we can have a copy made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that's
problem.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Well,
Okay.
don't want to kill any more trees.
Well, you want to write it down?
Okay,
I'll
so-
write on a piece of paper, so
Well,
you
looks
still
like,
use the piece
I'm
of
agreement,
paper.
I'm agreement so far with what we got here. You're looking at
Well,
six.
could we just, Commissioner Moore, you
What?
had suggested carrying it next week. Could we
Well,
just do that?
I think the issue at hand is going to be 6 bells here and 11 bells here. That looks like the issue. So, that's fine.
That's your issue.
No, that's what it looks like. That's what the issue
That's what
is.
the suggestion is.
Right. So if we can put it on the agenda, what do you want to put on the agenda? Vote for the allocation of bicentennial bells for the bicentennial
She'll figure out
event?
something.
Is that
She'll
okay?
figure out something. That's her job.
Okay, let's do that. Then we'll bottom line it next Thursday. We'll have it on the agenda.
Okay, just one other thing.
Here we go, bells next week.
The conference that I was at a couple weeks ago, I brought back a videotape, and the video introduces the concepts, ideas, and processes of community on-site decentralized management systems. These are septic type of systems, and I would like to show that video. I think the public would be very interested in it. I gave one to Mr. Carney, and he's going to review that. Kathy, can you plug that in?
Do we have to do this now?
No, I'm not interested in watching the video right now.
Well, I think the public that's here might be interested in watching it.
Well, I would suggest that we do it at the end of the meeting. Any public who wants to stay can view it at that time, and we'll conclude our business. That'll be my
Do
suggestion.
you have any other business to do?
We have an executive session.
We also have
You
old
want to
business
show
here.
this after the executive session, when most of the public has already left?
Well, if they're really interested, they'll stay.
I would just say, folks, if you're here and you're interested, plug it in. Do you know how to run a video? I guess my colleagues are not interested in that. Okay. Madam Clerk, would you move on to the next issue,
Old
please?
business, the feasibility study for Lorain County Reuse Education and Collection Center.
So moved.
I'll second for discussion purposes, but I would like to talk a little bit about this. This issue was brought up at our meeting in Eaton Township, and the essence of it is that it's to be a feasibility study regarding whether or not we want to establish a reuse education and collection center. And I just have some questions about what Mr. Billman presented. I thought one of the reasons we were doing this was because we were interested in locating recycling businesses at that proposed REC center. And I did a cursory review, perhaps not as in-depth as I might have, but I didn't notice any mention of generating businesses from that. And then I want to say again that I definitely do not want to see any duplication of services that are already provided by the private sector or a nonprofit. And this proposal was to do 6 tasks, and I believe that Mr. Billman must have spoken to Michael Greenberg, who is a principal consultant, and he has reduced the proposal to include tasks 1, 2, and 5 and 6 at a cost of, estimated cost of $8,600. So, Mr. Cordez, if you or Mr. Billman could speak to this issue before the board takes action, I would appreciate it. Oh, and one other thing, excuse me. It says here that GT will evaluate each of the candidates' waste streams to determine current management practices, and that they will identify markets for recycling these materials and the cost to manage them on a year-round basis. And then it also says the costs to be evaluated include on-site storage needs, handling costs, yada, yada, yada. It says GT will also assess the cost of providing a service to collect materials and bring them to the rec center. And this is why I'm strongly suggesting that we don't duplicate any service. I don't know if Elyria Township still provides this service, but they had a very nice service in their township for years where they went around and picked up items and took care of them. So I just don't want us to be in a business of recycling what's already being done.
I've had multiple discussions with Mr. Billman on this, and I will give way to him to come to the podium and make a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. Dan Billman, Solid Waste Director. This feasibility study will help us actually evaluate the siting, the construction, operation of the reuse center, because it's a comprehensive type of project that we're looking at. It's a reuse center where we will collect items. It will be, and for reuse, it'll be an education center where we'll be able to bring in students and other organizations to educate them on what we do, the reuse, recycle, and reduce of recyclables. We call it the rec center, reuse education center, collection center. There will be no recycling done on the site as it's currently proposed. And we're looking at what services, we will be looking at what services are out there already, and we would not want to duplicate them, although we might want to utilize some of the services that are presently available in the county at this collection center. Maybe BFI would want to put a collection facility in our facility to collect what they're already collecting. That's a very big possibility. As Betty had said, that there are 6 tasks for this. Data collection, evaluation of reuse and collection markets, environmental education, and the siting, economic assessment, and then the final report. Of the 6, the district will be looking at the siting and the educational component of this program. I think that it is something that we need to really look at and possibly move the county ahead and give the residents of the county more services than what they have right now. I would be open to specific questions if you have them. I know, Commissioner, you did have, Betty, you had some questions. If you would specifically give me questions again, I'll be glad to answer them.
Well, I guess maybe they're not questions I expect you to answer now, but I want them to be made known to the GT Environmental, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you afterwards. I just want to note, too, that Penfield Township already has a small version of a rec center, so to speak, and they've done a wonderful job there. And just we can learn from what other people have done, and I think it has potential. I did ask about the, I thought that I didn't see any mention of locating recycling businesses at the proposed rec center. Commissioner Vasey spoke last week about one business that you and Ron Twining had met with, that, in fact, the ones that did the computers, that they might be interested in locating at such a site. And then she also made reference to another business at last week's meeting, and I thought in the conversation that I heard that the idea was to blend these two together.
Yes, I think that's a fair statement. What we're looking at is possibly having a fairly good-sized building in operation and with property to where we could bring in some of these businesses, okay, and give them a start, give them a jump start, and let them expand to the point where we might have the opportunity to move them out into another building that's available in the county and keep the operation in the county after they see it's a viable operation.
Dan, didn't you say that RET3 already looked at some locations and they were interested in one of the buildings here and that they could create 50 to 100 jobs?
That is correct. That's a nonprofit organization, and in talking to the principals of that corporation or the nonprofit, they're saying that they're looking to expand their operation and move into another building, and that they have on the drawing boards 50 to 100 jobs. They're going beyond the computer recycling, though. They're looking at other areas that they can get into. But they need a bigger building right now. And they're presently in Cleveland. The Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District had funded them to get them up and running. So that's how they got their start in Cleveland.
And then I talked with another company that is a plastic company, and they're willing to come into Lorain County and buy the plastic. So, I mean, and that's just two companies that I've talked with in the last month. Then I talked to the realtors, the president of the Realtors Association last night, and they said that they would help with this project in any way that they can, because as far as she's concerned, she sees that this project will bring in jobs, and jobs bring in wealth into the county. And my thoughts on the whole project are several different things that we could do. We not only would be picking up recycled products once a year, like our computer services right now, once a year pickup, hazardous material once a year, and on and on. We could pick up this material 5 days a week, as long as that facility is open. So when people clean their basement, their garage, they don't have to stick this somewhere else and keep it for a year. Most people go to the mall. There's areas in the mall that we can locate this facility. It would be centrally located in Lorain County. It would be a drop-off 5 days a week. You don't have to store this hazardous material somewhere else in your house and worry about it. Your batteries, whatever it is, drop them off. We can put trailers, line them up from different companies with batteries, with carpet, with plastic, with paper, with cardboard, with white goods, and go on and on and on. And yet every one of these companies that want to locate in Lorain County, we would ask them, that want our business in Lorain County and wants to pick up this volume of whatever it is that we have, then we tell them, sure, but you locate in Lorain County or you must be a facility in Lorain County. If we can legally get away with that, that's what my thoughts are. Then there's people without jobs all over this county, very desperate for jobs. They need to be trained, they need to be retrained, and that would be the center where we can do this. And then all these items that we have, and I have repeated this so many times since Mr. Jacoby was in office, and we've seen two other commissioners since, and I'm repeating it once again, but these people are desperate for jobs, and this is a way to give them jobs. Here, one company alone, 50 to 100. How many more companies are out there that will hire people the same way as this one company? Then we train and retrain in this center. Our kids, our seniors, train them all, and then give back to the community and give them an incentive to recycle and spare the land of that, the life of that landfill. But if we keep sitting on this and talk about feasibility studies and this study and the other study, good, because here's an article from the Plain Dealer. Cuyahoga County will jump on it because we're talking too long and just dragging our feet with it. And then these companies can go into the Cuyahoga Company, then our people can go to Cuyahoga County. We keep this up. It's like you boast you want jobs, we're going to create jobs. I don't see anybody doing anything about it. Now, we either do it or we don't do it and give it away, one or the other. I'm just getting so tired of talking about it. When the thing is there and you've got lean tools, you've got so many different options. You've got a huge building in this one area that I'm talking about, lean tools, you've got overheads, you've got area for the trailers to come in and line them up there. What more do you need? You need a feasibility study and spend another $8,000 that you could be giving back to the people? Not in my opinion, sorry. But that's all I have to say about it for now.
I don't disagree with a lot of the issues that are out there that you've spoken of, Commissioner Vacy. I guess I have to recommend that we would do the feasibility study only to the point of knowing where we're going with this program and what we can do and what we can't do with the amount of money we have to spend. I think it's a step that Mr. Cordez and I have talked about frequently. I
Dan,
think
I'm
it's
just
the
going to
next
ask
step.
you this. Does solid waste have the money to buy property? We've talked about it. I think the answer is yes. That's the start. Then after that, if you need to rent trailers, we don't have to rent them. County doesn't have to. The business that's going to locate there rents the trailer and puts it there. Once it's full, it's their responsibility to take it the heck out of there. All we have to do, and we've got the jobs program, I've already talked to Bill Ogle, Ron Twining, the mayor of Elyria is for it, the Realtors Association is for it, Sandy Prudoff is for it from Lorain. We can work this out. We don't have to have all the money that you think we may have to have. Just let a company come in, put the trailer in there, they move it out, they pay to move it out. All we need, the training center, workforce development, steel workers in Lorain, 1104, they're dying to train their steel workers that are losing their jobs. And then you've got the GEM program, which is going back into effect now at the Ford plant. We've got people to do this. We just have to get our feet off the ground.
Well, Commissioner Vacy, I would suggest that I will support getting our feet off the ground by having this feasibility study done. And I would respectfully ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Do you have a reason why you're voting no?
Nope.
You're just voting no with no reason?
We're out of order. What's next?
New business. Number 1, the Bell Casting will be held at the Fairgrounds, Wellington, Ohio, on August 19th and 20th, 2003. And 2, the Board of Commissioners will meet on Thursday, September 25th, 2003, at 7 p.m. at McCormick Middle School, 201 South Main Street, Wellington, Ohio. Therefore, no meeting will be held that day. Is there any further new business from the Commissioners?
I have none.
I have none.
Board
I
correspondence?
move the reading be waived.
Second?
Discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Public comment?
Morning, Bob. It's been a long time.
This is Robert Kish. Some of you definitely know me. I've been sick for a while, so I haven't been here. But I've got a couple things, and one of the things you just talked about. There's been an awful lot of talk. In fact, that's exactly what happened at the last meeting in Northeast. The question was asked by a person who had the same problem I had in the past. The gentleman came up and asked point blank at the 2 commissioners who was there, who's in charge? There went that old circle all over again. Nobody there was in charge. And yet it says here, in the Ohio Township Association, in addition to providing the services discussed here, township trustees also have a certain responsibilities for animals running at large in the township. There was a dog at large. The woman spoke of it twice. Mr. Cordez addressed the problem. He said they would answer him. Why do they not answer the public when the public calls them? They did not even return the calls from the women who called about the dogs. And then it goes on. Ditches, drains, and other surface waters. These are responsibilities we call, it's in the books, it's all there. Nobody's doing their damn job. Or so it seems. Anyhow, I've got to give my heartfelt thanks to those who sent me this card. I really, really, really appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate this card. And the amazing part of it, one of my songs that I have requested from WOBL has words that go along with that. In here it says...
Are you going to sing?
No, I'm not going to sing. And how do you know what song I have in mind? Don't put words in my mouth. I got enough. I'm only limited to 3 minutes. Oh, I could have lots of friends if I want to, but then I wouldn't stand out in a crowd. Thank you for reminding me that I do stand out in the crowd. I was an air traffic controller. You're aware of that. What we don't know is that in air traffic control, they have a position called a coordinator. I have been trying, since I have seen this body, to coordinate the townships, the commissioners, the cities, the boroughs, whatever government function you have. They, in their wisdom, have set up a traffic plan that if I were an air traffic controller, they'd shoot me. To the north here is Lake Erie. People can come down Abbey Road. This is Abbey Road from the north. This is the way they go, clear around the city of Elyria to go to Route 301. When they could come down a highway that's 65 miles an hour, tie into the 4-lane bypass, go through this one little bottleneck that can be cleared up by making a traffic circle out of it, go down to 4 lanes of traffic they have to here, and then they would be at 301, saving time, distance, and tie-up. Now, Lake Avenue, those of you who have traveled Lake Avenue know that it is a 4-lane highway except for a portion of it. That too should go into that same traffic circle and bypass Elyria. Years ago, there was a train derailment, and it caused the bridge near the underpass where you come in from the northwest to be closed. Well, in their wisdom, they closed it and only made it a 1-lane bridge, westbound. They say it can't be opened eastbound, and yet, I recall traffic going both directions at one time. I am that old. Anyhow, I'm just trying to solve some of your problems for you, trying to get you together. Now, I don't know, but this idea of having somebody come in at their expense in their trailers and recycling waste that I know, I have heard this from somebody who works out at the dump in Oberlin. People have collected trash, separated it, put it in their blue bags, and they have buried it. That's money that the county is losing. That's money that we're wasting. That's land space that we're using for no good at all. And to what advantage is it to waste? The whole idea of recycling was around during the Depression days. I remember them. People came by with push carts, 2-wheel carts. They collected tires they paid you for string, for foil off of wrapping gum. Yes, those times can return. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board or have any questions or suggestions?
Elizabeth Rummix, Oberlin, Ohio. You may recall that I had asked about the electronic voting decision and was told that indeed it was not the Board of Commissioners or even our Board of Election necessarily, but quite probably the state that would deal with it. There was an article in the New York Times, which I photocopied but haven't yet mailed, about the problems with electronic voting. I will mail that to you 3 commissioners, to Mr. Cortez, and to the Board of Election. But I would wonder if the board would not consider conveying in a letter to the state person who is in charge of the decision-making the concern that some members, of, at least of the general public, have about the problems with electronic voting and whether there will be some public notice about their efforts to deal with it or to contradict such allegations. As I say, it is a great concern to a number of voters, and if the commissioners would wish to convey that fact, I think it would be much appreciated, even if not necessarily acted on by the state.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, what is the desire of the board?
Mr. Ennis, you had issues for executive session?
Yes, Commissioner.
I'll move that we convene an executive session for the purposes outlined by the assistant prosecutor.
In a second.
Commissioner Blair?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Vacy?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Commissioners have reconvened from the executive session.
Commissioners, after passing our resolution in which we Resolution 03519, in which we allocated paying Erie Shores Humane Society $50 per hour for trial work and $40 per hour out of court, subject to a cap of $250. I've received a letter from Attorney Holland saying he is willing to abide by the hourly rate, but is asking us to remove the cap, and has requested payment of $1,708. The problem we face there is that it's hard to justify paying people that prosecute the case substantially different than what we pay people to defend the case. There is a provision that allows judges, if in their discretion they find a large amount of time has been expended in a case, to go beyond the cap. So I would suggest that as a resolution of this, that we amend Resolution 03519 to increase by $600 the amount that we would pay Mr. Holland, to the total of $850. That's basically half of what he's requested. It is also the halfway mark between what we pay misdemeanors and what we pay felonies. I think that's a reasonable attempt to be fair and accommodate the man without totally jeopardizing the schedule that we have for other individuals. I would also suggest that we indicate to him that this is just a one-time thing. The cap still remains on future cases.
Also move that the board approve the action that you have outlined.
Second.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Thank you,
And
Commissioner.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Blair? Ms. Vacy? Adjourned.
Aye.
Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.
Small towns, urban fringe and suburban developments, rural communities across the country, a small mining village in the Northwest, coastal residential areas. Across America, communities have learned that sewers and central wastewater treatment plants are not the only way to have a comfortable standard of living. A well-organized community on-site wastewater management system, or OMS, can ensure public health, enhance water quality, protect property values, sustain the environment, and accommodate growth for the long term. Examples abound nationwide. Some communities have implemented an on-site wastewater management system from the beginning. Others have developed an OMS to address specific concerns or to correct failing conditions. All are successfully using wastewater treatment systems located in or near their own yards. But are on-site systems a modern way to treat wastewater? Are they really that dependable? Historically, seepage pits and septic systems were constructed without much siting or design guidance and received little maintenance. Failures were common. During the post-war housing boom in the late 1940s and early 1950s, millions of septic systems were installed. Despite improved septic tank designs, there were still widespread failures.
course, the reasons that they failed early on was that we never recognized differences in soil and soil acceptance rates. Well, as a result of these continuing failures, it was reasoned that these systems are unreliable.
Treatment begins in the septic tank. Solids and floating matter separate from the wastewater. The wastewater is then dispersed to the soil where most treatment occurs. New knowledge about soil has led to success with septic systems.
The idea is that the soil contains numerous bacteria, and that the bacteria then aid in purifying the liquid as it passes by.
With the air found in loose soil to breathe, and with the food and the wastewater to eat, the organisms multiply and go to work. The water clears in as little as 2 feet of good soil. But good soil is not found everywhere. Only about 1/3 of the United States has soil suitable for conventional systems. However, there are methods that make up for site limitations. An artificial drain field or mound can be built, augmenting thin soils. Or the biological action of soil can be put in a box of sand or other media. These media filters are then used to pre-treat the wastewater before it is dispersed to the drain field. Another method of pre-treatment is to blow air directly into a wastewater container where suspended organisms are present. The organisms breathe, eat, and multiply. When no more food is available, they die and settle, leaving clarified wastewater. These aerobic treatment units, or ATUs, pre-treat the wastewater before it is dispersed. There are many variations in on-site system design, but all utilize the same natural biological processes. David Van Huysen, Texas designer and consultant, has been working with innovative on-site systems for many years.
The whole community doesn't have to be at one point or the other. The whole community doesn't have to be all centralized or all on-site. It doesn't have to all be this level of cluster or this level of cluster. You can have different areas of the community that could be managed in different ways. The idea is that the whole thing is one management system.
If a good drain field cannot be found on everyone's lot, a cluster system may be a practical solution. Each house may have its own septic tank, but they are all connected to a single drain field. Cluster systems can be included with a variety of other on-site treatment methods within one effective community management system. The California oceanfront settlement of Stinson Beach has operated a successful on-site management system for over 25 years. The 700 residences and businesses occupy very small lots served by on-site systems. In the 1970s, many septic systems were failing. To avoid the high cost and the population increase that sewers and a central plant might bring, committed residents developed an on-site wastewater plan using innovative alternative systems managed by the Stinson Beach County Water District.
The engineering firm that I worked for before dealt with centralized systems. I thought that at one time that was the only way to go, and I thought that septic systems were basically an old method until I came here at Stinson Beach. Looking at the way these systems operate and the monitoring system that we have here, I feel that the cost effectiveness of these systems more than outweighs the cost of a centralized system.
The conventional and advanced on-site systems here are continually monitored and maintained to assure protection of the sensitive environment.
I think the management program here will work in just about every location. If it's done properly and it's managed properly, you should not have a problem. These systems could probably last 40 to 50 years without a problem.
Near the American River, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, the planned community of Auburn Lake Trails has been successfully using conventional on-site systems, mounds, and sand filters for 20 years, monitored and managed by the Public Utility District.
The reason our zone works so well is because we've done such extensive work in defining the problems in the soil. And once those limitations have been identified, then we can engineer something that can address the limitations in the soil. But it does require some advanced technology.
We test the effluent straight out of the sand filters themselves, and our district engineer has been very impressed how clean the water is inside these sand filters before they get dosed to the leach lines. It's important that these sand filters do their job. Otherwise, it could send the effluent right down to our creeks and contaminate our creeks and streams. And we've never had a positive sample in our streams.
When you have a problem with a septic tank, you have maybe a 250-gallon-a-day problem. When you have a problem with the sewer system, you've got 1 million gallons a day. And for rural America, dealing with a 250-gallon-a-day problem makes a lot more sense than trying to deal with a million. I'm very glad I don't have to deal with 1 million gallons of untreated sewage when there's a problem.
In Edison, Washington, shellfish beds were being polluted by the local tidal slough, which contained effluent from failing septic systems and directly discharged waste. Doris Robbins and her neighbors were determined to find a solution that would not be too economically disruptive.
We had to keep the expense down because this is a fairly low-income community with 4 generations of people living here. We wanted to keep them here.
To serve the 75 homes and businesses, community volunteers helped build a gravel filter. The local school district, also a major stakeholder, provided the high ground for the drain field and shares in the management of the system.
We were able to cut the cost per site from $20,000 to $7,000. And then for a certain income level, their costs were cut even further to $3,000. The first summer, people commented on how the slough didn't stink anymore.
In the Midwestern farm village of Klossner, Minnesota, old septic systems were failing. Soil limitations were overcome by installing new mounds and clusters. The nearby hamlet of St. George had similar problems.
The community was in a violation threat from the county and from the MPCA, and they realized that they had to do something. And at that point in time, they came to the township to try and get some help with the county and try to find answers.
The township planned and enabled a community on-site management system, installing a cluster to serve the 23 homes in the management entity.
As to management, people realize when they invest that kind of money nowadays into a septic system, just like you do a car, just like you do a house, you need to protect it, you need to take care of it. They may not know how to take care of it, and that's why we implement management tools that either help them understand so they can do it themselves, or if they don't choose to, someone will do it for them, and therefore they are protected.
In the late 1970s, people in Otter Tail County, Minnesota, noticed a decline in the water quality in their lakes. They decided to replace failing septic systems and start an on-site management system. Roland Mann administers the OMS that ensures the proper functioning of over 1,500 on-site systems in the district.
Your sludge accumulates, your scum accumulates in your tanks, and they definitely need to be checked, and everybody's system is different. One house can have to be pumped every 2 years, another one might not have to be pumped for every 6 or 7 years. That's what we're finding. And it just all goes back to usage, and the only way to find out is to monitor it, check the tank, see what's in there, see what's coming out of the tank. If you don't, obviously the longevity of the system is going to be curtailed immensely. Water clarity in the lakes had definitely improved. You could go out and you could see the bottom a lot better than you ever could.
In North Carolina, the area around Elizabeth City has extremely high water tables. Residents there use septic systems managed by the Albemarle Regional Health Services on-site management entity. The OMS has been so successful that several adjacent counties have joined it.
Years ago, before we started the ME program, we had like a 30% failure rate. Since we started the ME program, we had a 1% failure rate. That to me says a whole lot for the management entity program.
Many who work in Washington, D.C. live in nearby Fairfax County. The county health department's on-site management system, perhaps the first in the country, has overseen septic systems for more than half a century. Among the various management procedures, periodic pump-outs by licensed contractors are required. Management reviews ensure that the OMS can adapt to meet changing needs. Today, it serves about 25,000 on-site systems.
Based on the Clean Water Act of 1972, everyone thought that we were going to have sewers. And so a mindset developed that septic tanks are only temporary. We're going to have sewers. Well, now, today, we recognize clearly that we're not going to have sewers. but that mindset hasn't changed. We've been doing work here at UC Davis on intermittent sand fillers, textile filters, and the quality that you get is superior to what you produce at a wastewater treatment plant. And so, from a treatment standpoint, on-site systems don't have to take a back seat to more conventional facilities.
And because we can focus all of our attention on the treatment process, and we don't have to worry about the collection part of the process, it's really a much more cost-effective option than when you look at a central system, especially for suburban or rural areas.
Communities of people in rural areas really choose to live there, are proud of their community, and justifiably so, and want to take care of problems themselves. And this is a very, very appropriate way for a community to have a high standard of living with protecting the environment, protect public health, but still maintain that rural character.
Most of our staff has realized that you can't economically sewer all rural areas. In the areas that we have left that need additional, either for public health reasons or water quality reasons, wastewater treatment, this could be a viable option with the management component so that you achieve the desired treatment results and ensure the long-term viability of the systems.
In our office, the on-site and decentralized program is one of our key initiatives. That's what we're promoting, is to look at the options, consider decentralized systems where you can get the community involved very early in the process, give them the information that they need to demonstrate that these are viable options.
Located in Morgantown, West Virginia, on the campus of West Virginia University, the National Environmental Services Center specializes in providing information and professional expertise in water quality and wastewater issues to interested communities throughout the country.
One of our primary areas of focus at the center is to actually move out and to visit with and to assist communities at the local level. Community leaders, local decision makers, and residents of communities across America have a good, clear understanding much of the time about many of the issues that concern them. But they don't necessarily know where to draw on the resources, the expertise, or to receive the technical assistance. And so we here at our center send out into the field experts, draw on that resource, provide products and services and other related and ancillary support to enable communities to define and design their own destinies.
A community really only has two choices. If change is inevitable and progress is optional, you can choose to do nothing. If you choose to do nothing, then the destiny of the community is not really in the community's hands. It's in the hands of those people who are creating the change. We have numerous communities around the United States that have been successfully using management entities of some form or another, in some cases for decades. And they have been able to do it successfully. So our job really here is to say, look at what others have done. We'll help you with understanding how others have accomplished this. It's not decision making at levels where you have to be fearful about what the outcome is. It's sorting through the options to design something that's good for your community.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners this morning for being here. Sun's shining. We've got a beautiful day. It's an honor to have you here today. The opening benediction will be presented by Chaplain Bill Davis. Would you please stand and remain standing for the presentation of the flags presented by Southview ROTC, and then it will be followed by the national anthem presented by Admiral King High School.
Thank you. Our Heavenly Father, first of all, thank you for this beautiful day, and make us truly grateful of these Medal of Honor recipients and the goodly heritage thou hast bestowed upon this nation. Because of their unselfish acts, they have helped make this a great nation and the world a better place. Watch over our leaders, our people, and our nation, and keep us ever mindful of the sacrifices made for us by our fallen comrades, and make us worthy of your loving kindness. And may this ceremony bring them the recognition they deserve. And please remember all our servicemen and women everywhere in the world, and remember all the MIAs and POWs from all wars and conflicts. Amen.
Forward, march! Colors, hold. Left, face. Present, arms. Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Thank you. I don't know about you, but the national anthem always gives me goosebumps. Please be seated. Today we have gathered to honor those who have received the America Medal of Honor, but we must also recognize and honor all of the courageous men and women in the past, present, and future that have and will continue to fight for our freedom and the principles for which America stands. At this time, we would like to unveil the plaque, but I would like to take one moment to thank Ken Cromer of the Lorain Library for making it possible for us to display the authentic Medal of Honor given posthumously to Charles Berry, which is right here, and the picture of Charles is also right near it. But I would also like to ask the family members and relatives of all that we are honoring today to come up and assist us in the unveiling.
Good morning, everybody. As everyone's coming up here, I want to at least recognize the people that did drive here. We have somebody that actually came from as far away as Minnesota, from
regarding the Berry family. Richard Berry is here. Robert Berry is here. Maurice Graham and his son Matthew from Marion, Ohio. Janine Rackus and her husband Dan is here from Avon Lake. It was Lee Pritchett and his wife is here from Deerwood, Minnesota. Gene Jozinski is here from Vermilion. And the Berries that were here are from Amherst, Ohio and from Vermilion, Ohio. And that is the Berries. First cousins is what I was talking to them earlier today about. Most of them are all first cousins. And I'm honored to have you here. Now, not to leave anyone out, I'm a big family tree buff, and I know a lot of people have family trees. If there's anybody else, this is the ones that we could find. Is there anybody else here that is a member of any of the Medal of Honor recipients? There's 2 people in the band? 2 boys in the band that if you'd like to come on up, you are to help participate in the unveiling of the plaque. We'd be honored to have you up here. If there's anybody else regarding any other members, because this is the family that we could contact to help participate. Okay, if not, then we will proceed to the unveiling. Thank you. What a great day. Usually these events always somehow we get rain, but today we were very fortunate. Thank you all for attending. I'd like to thank a few people that made this possible. As you keep hearing Sandy's name, she's kind of trying to hide in the back. She really did a good job putting this together, and she had a lot of help. Janice Mokosh, Joyce Parks, Teresa Upton, Marilyn Tracy, Jennifer Demage, and Dave Karpinski of the maintenance staff. We're all instrumental in bringing this thing together. I think it was a very good event. I think the plaque is it's very beautiful, and it's going to be proud to be here in Lorain County. Let's see what we got here. Also, Commissioner Blair could not make it. Her grandson had a benediction today, and she participated in that event at the same time at 10 o'clock this morning. So she sends her regards. But to move along, John Polger is here, the commander of the VFW 1079, to give recognition of each military branch individually. So I'd like to introduce John Polger.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. We're going to recognize each military branch individually, and the music will be played by the Admiral King High School Band and the Irish Heritage Pipe Band. And when we play your theme song, would the members of that branch please stand up? First, the United States Air Force, the theme song performed by the Admiral King Band. Now my favorite branch, the United States Navy, theme song performed by the Admiral King Band.
may be missing a few people here, but I want to at least recognize a few of our elected officials that are here today that are also veterans. I see Sheriff Stemeti's over here, Judge Horvath, Judge Bazinski, and Judge Glavis, and Judge Zaleski, some of our elected officials that are also veterans. With us today, we're going to have a few speakers, and I'll be introducing them one by one. This next person is happens to be was a personal close friend of Charles Berry, and his name is Joe Magazine, World War II veteran. If you want to have a few words, I'll just hand it over to you. How's that?
Oh, excuse me, I'm not the best speaker in the world. I appreciate everybody coming out for the remembrance of these fellas that are real heroes in the United States. I hate to say this, but I don't mean ball players are heroes. But all the young fellas know that the ball players, that they don't know all Congressional Medal of Honor. And we got to turn that around in a big hurry.
Thank you, Jeff. And as you told me, you were a friend of Charles earlier, right? You were a friend of Charles Berry. Yes, you were. And with all the family here, if you'd like to come up and talk to Joe afterwards, maybe you could. Oh, here we go.
I'd like to say a few words. Chuck Berry, he was a great Marine, and he was a gung-ho Marine, and he was a big influence on all the young guys.
Thanks, Jeff. Next to speak, Walt Warner is here, a Korean War veteran. Walt?
The Medal of Honor is the highest award for bravery. Above and beyond the call of duty, it can be given to any person serving the military of the United States of America. The Medal of Honor was signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln on December 21st, 1861. Since it was first awarded in 1863, 3,410 individuals have been awarded this medal. We are gathered here today to honor 5 who acts of bravery carried them above and beyond the call of duty. These recipients of the Medal of Honor from Lorain County served in the following wars: the Civil War, Indian campaigns, Mexican campaigns, and World War II. Every generation has its own heroes. Today our young men and women are engaged in yet another conflict. For the first time in history, we have experienced a direct and barbaric attack against innocent civilians in our own shores by foreign powers. These young men and women are fighting to protect our rights of freedom so that you have the right to choose to speak out and express your own opinions for or against the public policies of our time. In closing, I would like to repeat a few paragraphs to tell a story of how I feel and how you should feel. It's in a song. I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA, and God bless our military, wherever they may be, and God bless America.
Next, I'd like to introduce Don Ati, Vietnam War veteran. Don.
Thank you. I was going to write down a few little things, but I thought maybe best that I just speak from here. First of all, I'd like to thank the County Commissioner's Office for inviting me here today. It truly is an honor to be here today to pay tribute to our Medal of Honor recipients. As myself, being a Vietnam vet, I served in Vietnam from 1970 to 71. I was with the 524th Quartermaster Company in Cam Ranh Bay, where I dealt with petroleum, where we offloaded ships in the bay pumped to the tank farm, and from the tank farm to tankers and that, and then distributed the fuel throughout Vietnam. Well, I consider myself truly blessed to come back home here to the world, is what we called it when we were there in Vietnam, because we truly were in another world. But to come back here, it was truly a blessing. Since then, I've put my heart and that towards our veterans here throughout the county. And also, I hold the position of Public Relations and Fundraising Chairman for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Committee, which here to my right, Sandy from the County Commissioner's Office asked me to bring in our scale model here of the memorial that we're currently underway with to honor the 98 Vietnam veterans who died from Lorain County, that they're never forgotten, or their families and what they have done. And once again, I'd like to express my thanks for being here today, to be part of this. It truly is an honor. And with that, I'll close. If you've got freedom, thank a vet.
Next, I'd like to introduce Steve Lawson, the Gulf War veteran. Steve.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the county commissioners and their staff for inviting me to speak at this ceremony honoring our local Medal of Honor recipients. It is an honor for me to be here representing the Desert Storm or the Persian Gulf veterans. Do we have any more out in the audience today? At least one anyway. I thought it'd be important to provide a brief background regarding the Medal of Honor. A little bit of that was previously mentioned. Everyone's heard about the Medal of Honor, but most of us don't really know too much about it. As was mentioned, the Medal of Honor is the highest military honor in the United States of America. It is awarded by the President of the United States on behalf of Congress, so it is often referred to as the Congressional Medal of Honor. The criteria has changed since its inception, but basically today it is awarded for distinguished, gallant, and intrepid service at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty in conflict with an opposing force. Out of the millions of United States Armed Forces veterans and the numerous conflicts that they have served in, only 3,435 Medals of Honor have been awarded to 3,416 recipients, 319 of which were from Ohio, and only one has been awarded to a woman. Recipients of the Medal of Honor and their families are afforded special pensions, courtesies, and privileges. The Medal of Honor was created due to the Civil War in December of 1861 and was made a permanent decoration in 1863. Unfortunately, a lot of Medals of Honor are awarded posthumously, and there are only approximately 150 living recipients at this time. In my 23 years of service in the United States Army, I had the pleasure of personally meeting 2 recipients of the Medal of Honor, and have come to learn that these heroes are just average, everyday citizens and Americans serving their country who did the honorable thing at the honorable time. Thank you.
Also invited today from the Iraqi War, we invited the family of Sergeant Torrey's family. I don't know if they're here. We did invite them, and Sandy was. Okay, I guess they could not make it today. So, then next, I'd like to introduce our soloist, Lisa Myers. There she is. There you go.
Thank you.
children from mothers, much too young it seems, and made them grow up quickly to protect our homes. Fathers didn't matter, for their country they stood true, gave a gift so precious, our lives for me and you. And the colors they still stand, like the soldiers they never ran. Some have tried to burn her down, but still she stands so proud. Oh, I may never fight, but I thank God for those who've died for freedom and the colors that red. And the stars begin to rain on lovely and my day, and for freedom and the colors that never end.
You know, this morning has really and truly been a day of remembrance and a tear-jerking day with the bands, the song, all our vets that are here, and those that have passed on. And the memory of all these people, it's just too hard to keep the tears back. And I can't tell you how much we all appreciate our servicemen and women. You know, more than a century ago, one of the earliest recipients of the Medal of Honor, the Civil War hero, General Joshua Chamberlain, returned to Gettysburg and spoke at the dedication of a monument of his soldiers. He said, "The inspiration of a noble cause involving human interests far and wide enables men to do things they did not dream themselves capable of before. Today, at this grand memorial to Americans of singular courage and character, we gather with hearts that are indeed greatened to their limit. We gather to express the fullness of our gratitude to America's greatest heroes, who were not blind to fears, but rather strong enough to see through them, who reached deep within to achieve what even they may have considered impossible. Destiny has carved a signature of their lives into this stone. I dare say that no one will be able to witness the force of this memorial without being moved to the very center of their souls. America is eternally in debt to the families and friends of all servicemen and women who stood and continue to stand behind each of these heroes. It is never too late for us, individually and collectively, to say we recognize your loss, we respect your sacrifice, but the greatest honor we can pay to those who have fought for America is to rededicate ourselves to the principles for which America stands, to ensure that those who suffered or died shall not have done it in vain. With that, I want to thank you once again for being here, and God be with you. Would you please stand for a moment of silence and retirement of the flags?
A Brookside High School student, Will Emery, will be playing taps.
this time, the VFW Honor Guard, Sergeant Smiles Memorial Post 1079, will fire a salute. Southview ROTC will now retire the flags.
Please stay standing for the closing benediction, which will be given by Brian Del Torco. Thank you.
Can we bow our hearts in prayer? Father God, we want to acknowledge you. We want to honor you this day. We thank you for this beautiful day, this beautiful ceremony, and for these Medal of Honor recipients and their family members that we honor today. God, we first honor you. We acknowledge you. And we honor that ultimate veteran, your son, Jesus Christ, whom you sent, who came with honor and courage and fought for our freedom. Lord, we acknowledge you. We honor you. We thank you that you are the God of our fathers. You are the God of Washington, the God of James Madison, the God of Thomas Jefferson. We thank you for this beautiful country that we live in, with freedom, with great privilege. We thank you for the sovereign purpose that is upon our nation, the destiny and calling that is upon America, to extend justice and freedom throughout the world. Lord, we lift up our nation to you today during this season of trial. And we pray for our services around the world today, in the Middle East and around the world, as they uphold our freedom, as they continue to guard the liberties that we enjoy and fight for other nations as well. Father, we lift up these servicemen and women before you, and we pray that you would strengthen them, God, with your courage, with your purpose, with a sense of destiny and calling that extends beyond their own lives. We thank you for them, God, and we honor them today. Father, we thank you for these medal recipients. Lord, we honor them. We honor their families. They would be proud of new generations which are arising, fighting with courage and purpose. And we pray, Father, that you would continue to rest your hand upon our country, that we would continue to fulfill our purpose and our destiny as a nation. We thank you for our county, God. We lift up Lorain County before you. We pray, God, that your purpose and that your will be done in our county. We lift up our commissioners before you, all of our leaders. We pray that you would strengthen them and give them your wisdom as they lead in our county. Father, bless everybody who's here today, every student, every family member, every person, every individual who's here today. We pray that our own lives, our own families would have your touch upon it, God. We thank you for it, Lord. We give you glory. And everybody said, amen.
You know, as many of you know, my husband passed away about a year ago, but he was also a serviceman. And you know, to all our service people and their relatives and family and friends, I could just say this. When they had that casket draped with the flag, and the VFW from North Ridgeville had the gun salute, and we had a band, it was just the most touching thing, and it was like, America, this is what it's all about. And to you people, I know how you feel. I understand your feelings. And may God bless each and every one of you. And once again, thank you for being here. And keep your hearts and minds open to America. That's what it's all about. Our freedom counts. Thanks again.